Thank you for joining me today. My name is Lee Reams with ClientWhys. I am the founder and CEO, and this presentation today is called Know plus Like equals Trust. Fundamentally easy phrase, but it really is a simple way to look at your entire life cycle of your client base and how somebody becomes a client, how they develop a relationship with you, and how they start trusting you and getting the best from their relationship with you. So a little bit about myself. I have been involved with marketing for CPAs, accounting firms now for over 25 years. Our previous company, Image One, was primarily a content development company. We did client newsletters, presentation folders, client brochures, tax organizers, things that made it easier for accounting firms to showcase their expertise and communicate with their client base. Today's company, ClientWhys, was a spin-off of Image One. We sold Image One to Greatland several years ago and really focused on the digital marketing aspects. We have grown ClientWhys now into a 4,000 plus user subscriber list, and we work with accounting firms of all sizes across the country. So I'm going to get into the presentation here shortly. A little housekeeping as far as if you are trying to get CPE credit for this. This is available for NASBA QAS webinar credit, so 1 hour credit. There are polling questions throughout the presentation. In our Tax CPE Learning Center, the ClientWhys Learning Center, there is a poll that you can answer the answers to the polling questions, and at the end you will get a certificate for this presentation. So let's get started here. Accountant marketing has changed. I think if you're on this webinar, you probably already kind of realize that, but let's just get a general idea of the pain points and what is affecting you now. Number of question I would ask you is, do you feel like you are swimming upstream? Is it getting harder and harder to grow your practice? Are you suffering from technology overload? I think that is one of the things we hear the most. There's so much noise out there. There's so many different people telling you what works, what doesn't work, that it can get a little bit confusing and at times overwhelming. And then I think what is true for all accounting firms is, does it take too much time to launch even the simplest marketing campaign? And the reason I touch on this is the reality is your business is a fee for hire. You are paid for your time. Even if you are now doing some more of the value pricing model, kind of the SaaS model where you have clients paying you monthly fees, you're still billing for your time. And even if you're doing webinars to reach larger groups, it is a matter of how much time does it take me to, how many hours in the day do I have to bill my clients? So that leaves the time for marketing, content development, getting your name out there, kind of squeezed as far as your day-to-day stuff. So how do people know you? As we said, know plus like equals trust. That is the premise of this webinar. And let's talk about the biggest issue first, is how do people get to know you? So, the first question I'm going to ask you is your brand prominently displayed online? Accounting Today had done a survey, I think a year and a half ago or so, that said only 40% of CPAs had a website. So obviously they have practices, they have clients, so their business are built primarily through networking, word of mouth, client relationships. What has changed is it's much harder to get referrals, it's much harder to get new clients if when those referrals are looking for you after someone on social media tells them, hey, this is who I use as my accounting firm to help me grow my business, if your brand cannot be found online. The second item is, are you active on social media? So you're obviously with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, amongst others being such huge areas where your clients are congregating. If you're not on social media, you're basically losing the ability to connect with them in a social online setting. And then the last question is, do you publish blog articles and content? So let's talk about this. There is some hope, but it starts with a sound strategy. Your brand must be prominent online. And I'm going to talk about online authority throughout the presentation. That's where we'll get a little more technical. But your online authority matters. So how do the algorithms, how does Google look at your brand. How does Google rank your brand? And there's a number of factors that they use to do that. Being liked is a combination of your reputation, your responsiveness, and your expertise. So you could be the smartest, best expert at expat taxes, for example, or starting an S corp, but if you're not responsive, meaning you don't call clients back, or they don't think that you're caring about what they're doing, it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect your reputation. It's going to affect the overall ability from you to get your clients to actually like you, and which is the goal here. Is if the clients and prospects like you and know you, now there's a good chance they're going to trust you. And when people trust you, you can see this day to day, they refer more business and are willing to pay more for your services. I absolutely believe in this and see it in our clients who use this type of strategy. They're just much more successful, and it's just much easier for them, but they are prominent online, they respond to all client inquiries, and they know what they're talking about. And I think that is the kind of the key to your success. So with the housekeeping, our polling question number 1, the answer is New York. So in the Learning Center, when you're doing the poll, answer number 1 is New York. So please write that down so you can get your continuing education credit. So moving on, getting found, and it's really the know part of our little formula, is what are you doing right now to get your practice found? And I don't mean right this second. Obviously, you're on this webinar, so at least you're understanding. Hey, maybe there's some things I can do differently. But I mean, what is the one thing that you can create, publish, or launch this week to keep you moving forward or towards your goals, right? So we'll kind of get into how this all plays out as we go. So this is going to be a strong statement, but I firmly believe this, and even some of my competitors, they sell things that I believe is non-existent or doesn't work anymore. So search engine optimization, or SEO, as it's sold today, I believe is dead. So back in the old days, what that meant is you could just put some terms. So let's say you were a CPA in Orlando, and you could put those keywords on a page and basically trick the search engines to rank your business. But as the algorithms and the search engines got smarter and smarter, they started realizing that if you're putting or stuffing keywords, as we call it, onto a page, and the content of that page or what you do is not relevant to what the searcher, they will bounce from the page. So they'll find the page and then they'll leave. And what has happened is, the old ways of cheating the system, basically the algorithms have gotten smart enough now that it doesn't really work anymore. So it's something that, when I say that SEO is sold today, there's thousands and thousands of people that used to have jobs doing exactly that. They game the system. They now are the cold callers, the spammers that you'll get that say, oh, your site is not ranking well in cities that you're not even located. Those are kind of the examples. But the end of the day, things have changed, and I'm kind of going to go over what has changed, and I think it's changed for the better. I'm going to give you some examples here. I'm going to go over some basic search engine results and kind of go through the differences between the different type of results so you can get a general idea of kind of the changes and things you'll notice. One thing is big brands or marketplace or review aggregators, whatever you want to call them, are really starting to push down the results of local small businesses. And the reason that is consumers like the ability to compare multiple professionals, their reviews, contrast their services on one location versus going to multiple brands to find it out. So when someone is searching, those are the kind of results they're starting to see. And then there's also the big thing is to understand what people see when they're looking for you, meaning they're Googling your name versus Googling an area and looking for someone to choose. So here's some examples that I'm going to go over. So on the top here we have North Andover tax preparation. That's our Google term. And a little bit about how the search results work. This top area where it says ad, and on the right side ads, these are pay for play type of marketing. So these people are paying to have these positions. Research tells us that most people pick the what we call the organic results. So this middle block is now the Google Maps, the Google Local, Google Places. They keep changing it so much, but this is the information that Google has about your business, and they rank this based on a number of factors. This is a huge component of what you're doing if you want your brand to rank well. So for this particular example, then you'll see Jim Batten, his website ranked #1, and then Jim Batten has a profile on taxbuzz.com, and he has 85 reviews. Now, what's interesting is someone now is looking for North Andover tax preparation. This is a non-branded search term, meaning they're looking for generic terms. Probably James Batten is going to get the click, and they're ranked here in the Google listing. Their website is #1, and their review site or their marketplace is #2. So that is kind of a big plus, and it's kind of an overall theme of what we're going to talk about today. So now let's change this up to look at, if you look at what's a branded search. So what happens if someone searches your name or your firm name? And you're going to notice that other websites, so Yelp, TaxBuzz, and then obviously if your website is well built, you're going to show up prominently on the results, will show up on the search results. Now what has happened is some people who don't have a website, who have a lot of negative reviews on sites like Yelp, they will actually have these poor results show up when someone's searching your name. Now think about if someone referred a client to you, and that person then goes and searches you to find you online, right, to go to your website to contact you, and they Google you, and the first thing they see is a 1-star review, or they don't even see a website to click into, it's probably going to reflect poorly on you. And even though you're getting traffic to your website, if you have one, right, but you may be losing that click right here at the search, meaning that people will get a first impression of a negative review and stop looking. Say, you know what, I'm going to go find somebody else. Let's find somebody who, people do talk highly of. So this is a huge issue as you build your brand. So a properly built brand for a tax accountant should have a robust website so you can control kind of the message, right? And then the review sites having many good 5-star reviews, authentic reviews, real reviews that people can trust, right? That makes a huge difference on who they choose. So this is an example of what a properly optimized branded search result should look like. Now I'm going to go into kind of how local search works nowadays and why the review aggregators, the marketplace sites, are starting to take over the search results. So up here I typed in find a local CPA. And you'll notice that there are still some local businesses. So most search engines now, they know your geolocation. So 50% of searches now are on mobile. So the geolocation from your mobile phone, I mean, it could be GPS driven where people, Google, whoever, knows exactly where you are. And if you are on a desktop, a lot of times the browser asks where you are, at least from your ISP, whoever your web connection is. They get a good idea of where your general location is. So what I'm getting at is that search has become very geolocation centric, and when someone is looking for a broader term, I want to find a local CPA, you'll see here in the organic results, TaxBuzz, Accountant's World, these are directory sites, these are marketplaces. Individual brands have to pay. Over here on the right or here on the left, they're paying for clicks if they get them. So the question is, from the consumer point of view, would you rather click into a paid ad, or would you rather compare and contrast professionals on a marketplace site? And the answer has been driven towards the Yelp, the TaxBuzzes of the world. So I used another one, Find the Best CPA Orlando. Same example, I clicked into here, TaxBuzz, they have city landing pages. Again, this is showcasing the best CPAs in Orlando, and it makes a huge difference on the way consumers find professionals nowadays. All right, so that's not all. The other thing that you're going to start seeing is below the marketplace sites, a lot of what Google, Bing are indexing now are content marketing articles. So if for the examples I just gave, find a local CPA, the articles will be about finding a CPA. These are the best ways to find a CPA. And that is the way content marketing, which is, showing your expertise, writing about it, and then other sites that are highly ranked, so sites that are trusted. That's the way now Google and the results show. So, what it comes down to, users would rather read reviews about dozens of CPAs or accounting firms than be directed to a single one. It helps them compare in a much better way to find who the best person is. And here's an example. So if you were on a landing page as a consumer, here's William Westbrook. Here's a couple reviews about him. Here's Sonu Shukla. This gives me the ability as a consumer to see, where are they location-wise? What are their rankings? What do people say about them? And it gives a much clearer picture to the consumer on, making a wise choice, so to speak. All right, so what is happening? Google knows that consumers like the power of choice. And I think in your day-to-day experiences right now, whether you're using TripAdvisor to plan a vacation or things to do on a vacation, whether you're using any of the Yelp or other sites to compare restaurants, it has changed dramatically. So basically, Google is saying, hey, that consumers like the ability to choose who they can work with, and now they can compare and contrast things much easier. The web is moving to more pay-to-play. So, the ability for local businesses to rank highly on search results is being pushed down and they're giving people to pay for the AdWords. Those sites are starting, or those type of businesses are the ones that are going to be shown on the search results. And then what you're seeing is these brands are ranked on a number of factors, and the bigger the brand, the more trusted the brand, the higher the ranking. That's why you'll find Yelp, Thumbtack, TaxBuzz prominent on the search results, and that's going to continue. That trend will continue. So this is kind of our technical part of our presentation. Moz.com is one of the largest kind of local search ranking companies. Many people that are in digital marketing use Moz as a resource, and they do a yearly study with people who work on quote unquote SEO, and what are basically the signals or the ranking criteria that get the best results, and basically what are the elements that make a brand stand out online. So I keep trying to make it as clear as possible. Just having a website does not give you or deliver what it used to. So there's many other factors that you need to worry about. So I'm just going to briefly go through these just so you can get a general understanding. My business signals, according to Moz, and again, this is pretty good, and I believe in our own experiences, many of these things have shown to be true. Basically, what is your website? How is it built? Are the right keywords in your meta titles? Are the right keywords in your text, your meta descriptions? Is the content that people are landing on what you're really writing about? So you're not tricking people to come to your page. You're actually, when you're talking about helping a business startup in Orlando, Florida, the content on that article, that content on that page is actually about that. The other big thing is what they call external location signals. And what that means is there are lots and lots of directories out there, and NAP is like a big term. It's name, address, phone number. And if it's not consistent, so meaning if you go to 10 different sites and they have different phone numbers or different addresses for you, that can hurt you in ranking your brand. So basically, Google is saying that the more inconsistent your NAP settings are, probably the less trustworthy those results are, that business is actually legit, that they're still in business. So again, Google's whole job is to deliver the best results possible. On-page signals. So this is talking about when that page, and you're looking for clients in Newport Beach and you offer tax preparation, is Newport Beach tax preparation in your titles of your content? So, do you actually use the keywords that is on the page, and then are that name, address, phone number on every page of your site, and is it consistent with what is found in the external signals? Link signals is basically how many people are linking to you. Are you linking to others? So there's a couple different things. It's something that used to be gamed, and if you try to buy links, you will be penalized nowadays. So it's just a matter of how popular is your content, and if it's good content and people like it, they'll link to it. It's just as simple as that. Review signals, I think, is actually bigger than this, but the reality is reviews matter, and they matter both in conversion and in your ranking. So the more reviews you have, the higher your brand is ranked, and to me, the more important part of it is the more conversions you're going to get from visitors that come to your site. Social signals is all about, are you active on social media? So there's a couple things. Not only is it important to be there because you can see more people, right, and more people can find you, but it does affect your overall brand ranking in the search engines. The next one, mob signals, is kind of, it's a little bit hard to compare, and personalization is a little bit hard to compare for the tax accounting world. But personalization basically means when people log in, does it say, Dear Lee and Hi Lee and all that kind of stuff? And are you able to differentiate some of your content based on who they are? So these are, in a technical point, what the main ranking factors are. But what I'm trying to communicate is point blank, it takes more than a website to be found online. It is a 360-degree view of your brand. It matters that people are talking about you, and your online reputation obviously matters, and is something we've been talking about through the presentation. So we put together kind of a chart, and this is the way we do a lot of our marketing, but it kind of gives you a general idea of what are the elements you need to really be focused on to make your brand stand out online. And it involves many items. So this is taking a non-technical view of the Moz chart and kind of putting it down. So content marketing, what is that? Do you have a blog? Are you writing content about things that your client base or prospects will care about? If you're trying to build an expat business, you need to write about issues that expats would care about. If you are trying to grow, help startup businesses in Orange County, those are the kind of articles and content that you need to be writing about. It needs to be hyper-focused. It needs to be direct to kind of what that audience wants to hear or read about. Secondarily is, how does that then display in the search engines? Are you active in all the online directories? That can be a time-consuming, but the better your online directories, the more consistent they are, the higher you're going to be ranked. Social media is kind of an obvious one from a point of view of reaching and expanding your reach. And think of social media as kind of an extension of your newsletter or your email newsletter. It's just another way for clients and prospects to see your content, see your brand, and more importantly, to be able to relate with that, be able to talk to you, to be able to reach out and have a firmer relationship with you. And it really matters as far as the know plus like, getting us to the trust factor. But then now you have leads, what do you do with them? Do you have a process in place to manage them? Do you respond quickly? When a lead comes in from your website or a phone call, are you tracking it? I would say most of our professionals, when they start working with us, do not have anything standard in place, and they don't even know, how many people are calling, or when they do call, what happens, from the receptionist on through. And it is kind of a huge element to fix before you're going to be successful. Email newsletters is one of the most consistently delivered mechanisms that we have, and I've seen it over and over again, how many people, clients, prospects respond, how it brings in new business, how it brings in extra business. We also talk about client portals and appointment scheduling. That is just things to make your business run a little bit smoother, saves you time, makes things more convenient for your client base. That is kind of the idea there, is to get apps that kind of make you look better and make it easier for your clients to deal with you. Reputation management is all about the reviews, and that's what we're going to get into next. And having a robust website is kind of a standard. You have to do it. It's not, people need to be able to find you. They need to be able to hear your story. Just even from maps, contacting you, coming to your office, whatever, that content and that information needs to be available. So, are you saying search engine optimization, SEO, is dead? So after I basically butchered it all and said, yeah, it's dead, well, it's not really dead, because as long as search engines exist, SEO in its truest sense is not dead. But you're finding out, though, that search is dominated by big brands. Search is showing more marketplaces and review aggregators. So if you follow best practices and you don't try to game, quote unquote, optimize SEO, there are things that you can do to really help your brand stand out. So what does that mean to you? To get found, you must rank high on review aggregator websites. So that's issue one. You must publish articles and content to build up your online authority. You must be active on social media. These three elements really put together kind of the way the dynamics have changed. So we've been talking about reviews, and I think it's important to kind of say, well, you're saying it's great, but what are some statistics to back it up? So Bright Local is a company that, again, is in the local space. They do, just like Moz, they do surveys and kind of best practices. What they have found is 88% of consumers have read reviews to determine the quality of a local business. 88%. I mean, that is a huge, obviously, number. And 72% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business. So what others say about you online obviously matters. And we know that it's at least 10% of the ranking criteria. So one, it helps you get ranked better. But two, the more important things, it helps you get conversions. So consumers are using reviews today. Here's two examples. I mean, here's an H&R Block office with 4 one-star reviews on Yelp. Here's a tax professional in North Andover who has 83 5-star ratings. People are going to pick one or the other. What do you want to work with, the 1-star or the 5-star? It's kind of a no-brainer. And more importantly, when you read the content of the reviews themselves, it is very telling what people really think about you, what the things they nitpick at. And one thing you'll see common is a lack of responsiveness. And then the other thing, here's a perfect example. The newsletters are greatly appreciated as they help us plan to prepare. These are things that are part of the elements that kind of make you stand out. So again, some more examples. Would you rather your brand look like this online with 5 stars everywhere? Or would you rather just neglect it and, kind of put your head in the sand that these things don't matter? They do. Polling question number 2. So we must be moving along here. Answer Ohio. So go ahead and write down polling question number 2. The answer is Ohio. And again, this will be used to get CPE credit. So Yelp says not to openly ask for reviews. I absolutely disagree with it, and their business model is different than what your business model is. Their business model is to get eyeballs coming back more and more. They're trying to get a little bit of a social feel to what their answers are. So they kind of reward what I call the foodie critics, the movie critic type of people, the people that leave reviews everywhere. They review everything. And what happens for an accounting firm is most of your clients are not active Yelpers running around, every place they go and leaving their opinion. They probably might use it occasionally here or there, but when they do and they leave a nice review for you, very often the Yelps of the world, their algorithms will actually suppress a beautiful, deserving 5-star review. TaxBuzz does not do that, and if you're a TaxBuzz client, they'll actually verify that review came from an existing client. So they actually have the ability to give added trust. But the point is, you need reviews on TaxBuzz, you need them on Yelp, you need them on Google+. And all of these elements will help, one, your conversion, but two, what people see, like the branded search that I showed you, what they're going to see in the search results. So send an email to review request to your client database. It's been very successful for our clients. There's ways to write it that, basically say, hey, our business is built on word of mouth. We'd love to hear your feedback. And it kind of gives them some outs if they had any issues that perhaps they would respond and not, respond directly to you. But what it does is it really starts building out an excellent picture of what your firm's all about. Add your review links to your website, email signatures, and more. So, you want this to be as prominent as possible. Display your reviews on your site, on your website. This really is a game changer for what people see when they and how they convert when they come into your content. So I'm going to kind of change gears here a little bit and talk about content marketing. So the accounting vertical, CPA firms, tax professionals, basically it's your smarts and expertise that are the powerful assets that should be shared online, right? So you may know all kinds of things that your clients need, and if you share it online, people are looking for answers to these questions. Most likely your content will be found, your brand will be found, and that should or can bring them into a relationship with you. So they're obviously searching for something. They have a problem, they have a pain point, and you are providing the answer to that. But instead of advertising or paying for people to find you through Google AdWords, if you start producing helpful content, it gets indexed organically. It starts bringing traffic in and leads in organically. And this is the fastest and best way to build your brand. After the marketplace sites, content marketing is the best way to build your online authority. So the more content, or the quality, of course, the more content you create, the more your brand is going to be ranked online. If you're too busy to write your own content, find an outsource option. And one of the things I always like to tell people, and the misconception, because these SEO people are telling you to throw all these keywords and this and that, is write for your audience, not the search engines. Content that is written to actually solve something gets better readership and is indexed better than someone who's trying to game the system. You might be able to game the system for a while, but when the people get to your page, they see right through it. So again, write for your audience, not the search engines. And this comes down to issue number one: build an amazing website. So you want to showcase your expertise. So you want to introduce yourself. You want to have, if you have multiple partners, you want professional headshots. You want, personal biographies. You really want to kind of show online what your brand is all about. So it's showcasing your expertise and providing a unique selling proposition. So if you are working with McDonald's franchises, for example, or if you only work with businesses in Cincinnati, this is where your website should communicate these unique selling propositions. You want to make it easy for prospects to contact you. Your site absolutely needs to be mobile friendly. 50% of search now is on mobile devices. As Apple just rolled out their new iPad. People are using non-desktop devices now to consume content. If you are not using a website that is responsive, one, Google may not rank you as high because their algorithm says, this site is not going to show as well, and it makes it harder for people to find you. This is kind of a no-brainer, but still some people are holding on to websites that are 10 years old. You have to upgrade. You want to provide a blog loaded with helpful articles and a knowledge base, and you want to use tools like online appointment setting. If someone decided, hey, this guy is great, I want to work with them, tools like the ability for someone to get an appointment instantly are huge. And we found that professionals that use these type of apps convert many more visitors than those that don't. So people that have reviews convert more. People that use appointment setting, online appointment setting, convert more. It's just the way it is. And people that are still afraid of it for whatever reason, they might get the traffic, but they're not going to get the same conversion rates. It is a must. Have an email newsletter opt-in, secure file sharing, and e-sign. These are things to make it easier for your client to do business with you. They should be part of your website. Websites with reviews convert, and this is what I was talking about. So you could put this same site, so this is Lena's tax team. She's in San Jose, Campbell area. You could put the same exact site up and not have the reviews on so right here on the right side, her Yelp reviews, Better Business Bureau. Below this fold, she has some tax code reviews that people can actually read. But this element alone is the game changer on why this website here converts more than a website that looks similar to this, purely because the reviews are prominent. It is a must. So once you start doing it, include it on your information on your website. And more importantly, brands with reviews get indexed better. So we know, according to Moz, about 10% of the ranking factors are built on reviews. And here it is in the truth. If you look for Lena's brand, you're going to see Yelp and TaxBuzz, Better Business Bureau, all three of those. So if someone's looking to her and was referred, you'd feel pretty confident someone with 72 five-star reviews on Yelp, someone with 5-star ranking on TaxBuzz. This would make you feel pretty good that you're working with someone that knows what they're doing, is going to take care of you. So get active on social media. We've been talking about this, but many accounting professionals are still afraid of social media. You have to have a presence on Google Plus, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter at minimum. There's other sites, but basically you want to be sharing your content, your expertise on these social sites. It has a huge reach, and it really can make a difference. And Twitter now is being indexed by Google as well, so you'll start seeing Twitter results. So your content that you post on Twitter might get indexed in Google purely because you have a presence. It is a big deal. We always say post and share helpful articles, due dates and relevant information. So just don't share. You want to be able to put some of your own articles, but don't do things that are kind of outside of your brand. Add some personality, but make the information part of what they would expect from you. We have found people that make it fun, who show personality. They post photos, quotes, cartoons. A lot of our cartoons, we do a Friday night, like accounting humor cartoons, get the most shares by far. So it is okay to be unique. And people actually, as the know, like, trust, it's another way to get people to like you. So promote your social media sites on your website and email signature. And here's an example of a post, visual, here's different likes. 41 people saw this post. This is kind of the way the viral marketing works. All right, so what are 8 ways to get more liked? These are the kind of key takeaways from this presentation today. Number 1 is the obvious: be responsive. The number 1 complaint found in online reviews about accountants is not returning calls. It's not responding. That is why people leave you. That is why they get upset with your service. It is obvious, but a lot of times you get busy and kind of neglect. So even if you don't have an answer, call them back or email them. This is kind of the most obvious one, but treat your clients right. Communicate with them as you would in person via email, phone, whatever. Be genuine. Actually, make them feel that their success is your success. Always listen. Make sure you have a two-way dialogue with your clients. Know their pain points and where you can help. And this is kind of an obvious one, but the more you listen to what your clients are saying, the more you can help them. It might be if it's a personal 1040 type client, there might be grandkids, or just listening to that says, oh, do you want to assist in saving, setting up a 529 plan or something, saving for their education. It's these kind of things that really help you do your job better. Never stop earning the business. And this is something that once you get a client, doesn't mean you own the client, right? So the number 1 reason for client losses is dissatisfaction with their customer service. So you need to do everything in your power to provide excellent service to your customers on an ongoing basis. Start building trust through client alerts. And when I say this, this is again going back to, do you have an email newsletter? Are you blogging? Are you using social media? You want to continually keep your clients up to date. It goes a long way in retention. We see comments on this all the time in the reviews. So people always say, I appreciate the newsletter. They're always keeping in touch. They're always making me aware of the latest tax law changes. This is a huge deal. Be transparent. And this is about everything now. In the online world, if you're not transparent, everyone will know about it. So if you make a mistake, own it. If you had bad news for your client, talk about it. Honesty goes a long way. Follow through on your promises. This is kind of with responsiveness, but if you have a deadline, you need to hit it. If you tell your client you'll call them back, do it. Even if you're crazy busy, at least send an email saying I'm working on it. People understand that, but at least you're following through on your promises. Again, it's going to make them like and respect you more. And this is kind of the most obvious, but a lot of people don't do it. Say thanks. If you get a referral, say thank you. After a big project, send a personal note or send an email note, something. Saying thank you goes a long way in keeping a client for life. So here's kind of a summary about the getting like part. So know plus like equals trust. And now we're going to get into the trust part. But being attentive, interactive, and responsive goes a long way to being well liked in business. It's just the nature of it. You communicate on an ongoing basis. Use your email newsletter, your blog posts, your social media to connect with your audience year-round. Help your clients feel a little bit better about themselves. Is kind of what you should be doing. It's reason enough to be kind. They'll like you for it, right? So the better the results you're doing, the more you're buying into your client's success, the more they're going to like you, period. Reviews reinforce being liked. So the client may have a good relationship with you. They might think, yeah, I like this person. This is my go-to CPA. But guess what? When they actually see it reinforced, it does create a stronger relationship. And we know that research is saying 90% of respondents said positive reviews influence their buying decision. So the more reviews and other clients say nice things about you, and we see it now. Once a professional starts getting a decent volume of reviews, as soon as they go over a certain threshold, it starts really rolling downhill. So that's where we go from someone who has 10 reviews to someone who has 90 reviews. It's almost like each client wants to outdo themselves if they like you. And it's brilliant as far as the marketing side. So being liked. Your brand is your promise to your client. So it tells them what they can expect from your services, and it differentiates your offering from your competitors. Know plus like equals trust. Now, why does trust matter? The people do business with people that they like and they trust, right? So they know you, they like you, they trust you. They're going to do business with you. And the more they trust you, the more they're going to share their pain points and needs with you. And that's going to help you do your job better. We see it all the time, even in our own business. Sometimes clients hear noise from all these other SEO companies or these .com companies that call on them that have contracts and things, and they sell them something, and it makes them start questioning their trust to us, right? So we obviously haven't done a good enough job of knowing and liking at that point. Normally we get them back by kind of explaining to them what's happening. But the point is, the more someone trusts you, and it goes with our clients and your clients, the more they're going to need you and the more they're going to share with you. Polling question number 3. So please get a pen out, write this down. Polling question number 3 is California. So why trust matters? People like to buy, but no one likes to be sold, right? So, once you feel the value of something, people like to buy things, but if they feel like they're getting stuck in a contract, they feel like something's being shoved down, they don't trust you, it is a big issue. And the more you get to know your clients, it increases your likability factor. That is the key that builds their trust with your clients. Clients who trust you, they spend more money with you, They refer additional clients to you, and hopefully if you have the right type of clients, they're going to be referring clients that are like them. That is the best way to grow a business. And a couple of examples of that, we have people that focus on law enforcement for taxes, for example. And what happens, or even entertainment, right? So what happens is, even though another CPA might be better or just as qualified to work with entertainment clients, they start working with the same CPAs. They think that because they focus on that vertical, they know more and more. So the better your client base is, the more they trust you, the more they're going to refer their friends, peers. And I think it's a great way to grow any practice very quickly. Clients who trust you act as ambassadors for your brand through their recommendations. So whether it be word of mouth recommendations, whether it be LinkedIn or Facebook, referrals, or whether it be 5-star reviews they leave for your business, these are things that you care about. So if clients trust you, they feel much better to act as ambassadors for you, right? And I think one of the biggest things is they stay longer, with you. They become lifelong clients. Your retention rates are higher, your practice is healthier, and you don't have to worry about churn. If you're not worrying about losing 7 to 10% of your clients each year, it's a lot easier to grow. You don't have to grow to stay zero. I think that is kind of the main takeaways for why trust matters so much. In closing, know plus like equals trust. It's the simplest formula to success. So get yourself out there. Make sure your brand is prominent online. Once you start developing a relationship with you, follow the 8 points of being liked. Be responsive. Be trustworthy. Make sure you share your knowledge with them. If you start adding the know plus like, you equal the trust, which is kind of the end game. That gets you where you want to be. People buy on emotion, but they need results to back it up. So just because someone knows you and perhaps buys into you, you need to be backing it up in order for them to feel good about their decision. And once they feel good about their decision, it's much easier for them to share their feelings about you online with others and refer you to clients. This simple, almost painfully obvious formula can help your business grow. And we've seen it over and over again through our existing client base that it doesn't take huge ad budgets. It doesn't take this crazy effort, other than the most common sense thing is, hey, the more responsive I am, the more I showcase my expertise, I safeguard my reputation, your brand's going to be rewarded. And clients feel great to be able to refer more people to you, to spend more with you, to work better with you. And it helps. It's kind of the win-win. You feel better about your client relationships. They feel better of what they're getting from you. All right, so that is the end of our presentation today. There's a couple things here. So if you want to earn CPE credit within the Learning Center, you can log in at taxcpe.com. There's a Learning Center login link. From there, you would go to the Know Plus Like equals Trust webinar, and there's the polling questions. So you were given 3 polling answers throughout the presentation. Go ahead and fill that out, and your CPE certificate will be available. This seminar or webinar is only providing credit for CPAs, NASBA, QAS for the marketing subject line. Once you get your certificate, or once you finish out the polling questions, your certificate will be available in the Achievements tab. You can ask questions. There is a Discuss tab in the Learning Center, so any questions you have about today's presentation, you can post them there. I and other experts, we will monitor that and provide feedback and answers to that. You can also email any questions to CPE@ClientWhys, that's ClientWhys.com, and we will respond to you via email as well. Again, thank you for attending this webinar. We hope you can take a lot of the Know Plus Like equals Trust ideas into your own practice and really start building and developing your own brand as you continue to grow in the digital age. Thank you.